I brought something new. Merry Christmas and welcome back to Oliver's Greenhouse, your one-stop shop for receding hairlines, expanding waistlines and excellent cameramanship. Some of you may have been paying attention a little bit more than others at the beginning of the video. I bought something really wicked for the greenhouse, well for Oliver's Greenhouse really. It's going to be an ongoing project. I've been after one for a little while and I got this one at an absolute bargain price. So it is a heated seed incubator. That's not right, is it? No, it's not an incubator. Propagator. I've got a heated propagator and I've got a really big one as well. Bit rude. And it's going to be fantastic for hopefully getting a real head start on next season's seeds. And we're also going to be having a look at my seed collection, which has expanded extensively thanks to the loving support of a couple of my Patreon supporters. So we're going to be having a look at those in a minute as well. So it's a big one made by Garland. I got it second hand. I paid the enormous sum of £10 for it, which I don't know how much that is in dollars. It wasn't very much, so it was very, very cheap. I like to get things cheap. I don't like spending a lot of money because I'm basically skint all the time. So it's a bit grubby, it's a bit dirty. It takes 3 of these propagator trays, comes with these high top propagator thingies. It's going to need a bit of a clean up, so we're going to be doing that. So basically we're going to be having a look at this. We're going to be cleaning it up together. I'm not going to be planting anything yet. It's not quite right yet. I'm going to be busy for Christmas. Haven't got enough time. So it's something we're going to be doing after the Christmas period. I've got a big announcement at the end as well. And we're going to be having a look at some of my seeds. So we'll have a look at the sort of things we're going to be putting in it. So without further ado, I'll pick you guys up, move you in, and we'll have a little look at this in a bit more closer detail. Okay, so you don't have to look at my ugly mug for the moment, because I have to operate the camera and go over what it is that I've purchased. So hopefully you can see that in there. It's made by Garland. This is not product placement. This is just the make that I happen to have purchased. Apparently it's one of the biggest propagator units you can get, or purpose-made propagator units you can get on the market. I don't know how old it is. I think it's relatively old. And they retail, I think you can get them on the internet. I've seen them for like 50, 60 pounds. So, you know, for 10 pounds, this is an absolutely brilliant saving. So it's only 50 watt when it's on, and it's got a plug for plugging in. I'm not sure how you do that with it's got a European plug on it anyway, or a UK plug on it. And it's got a built-in thermostat. So basically it'll turn on, start to heat up, which is the green light. And then when it reaches 19 degrees centigrade, it will then turn off. So what it's doing is it's maintaining soil temperature at 19 degrees centigrade, or that temperature which is conducive to seed germination. So it's going to be great. It's going to be low cost to run, and it's going to hopefully really speed up those tricky species like certain Drosera species, Sarracenia, Diania, and other carnivorous plant seeds. I've also got some Hedychium, so I've got some gingers I want to put in here as well, because I'm going to be re-landscaping the back garden next year. So what I did was, it came with these lids, these plastic lids that sit on top. Now they're really high, they've got to be 4 or 5 inches in height. And they've got little air vents on top that you can twist to adjust and control humidity inside the actual trays. They're a bit dirty, they've got some dust on them. We're gonna have to give these a clean up afterwards, just to, you know, just so that we're getting a little bit more light transmission through them. And they just lift off. So it came with those, it came with these 3 lids. I had to buy new trays. So these only fit a particular type of tray. I hunted them down, found them on the internet eventually after a little bit of searching. And what I've done is I've got the ones without, this is like we're bloody sponsored by Garland. Hang on a minute. Should have peeled these off otherwise. I'm not sponsored by Garland. I'm not being paid to make this content. It just happens these are the ones that fit those. Those are Garland, these are Garland, this is Garland. And they fit each other, so that's why I purchased them. So I got the ones without holes in. Most seed trays come with holes, because obviously you don't want normal seeds, or the majority of plant seeds, you don't want sitting in moisture, because they'll just decay, they'll rot. But a lot of carnivorous plant seeds, obviously they come from a bog, so we want to retain that moisture in there as much as possible. And on closer inspection, I'll just take these out of the way. I'm also going to pick you up and move you as well in a minute. Basically, there's a warning sticker in the middle here. I'm not sure if you can see that. Just make sure that's centre of shot. So there's a warning sticker just there. You can see, probably just see it says warning. Now what that warning sticker says is it says, do not submerge this unit in water. Okay, so I'm assuming it means the whole thing. It means like if you dropped it in the bath, it would electrocute you if you were in the bath. That's what I imagine, but it definitely uses the word submerge. So I'm assuming, in theory, you could fill this area here up with water, for carnivorous plant seeds, and I've even thought of growing carnivorous plants in here as well. You could maintain a water level. But I thought that, I don't know what condition this is. I don't know if it's got any tiny holes in it. Obviously, it's got a heating element underneath the unit. So I've gone for the seed trays without the holes in, because I can simply put them in here like this. Put individual little square plant pots in the middle with the seeds and clearly labelled, and then maintain water level in this, and that heat will conduct through this into the water which is in the trays, and have the same effect as if I was just using it for soil warming. I'm not technically going to use it for soil warming, I'm going to use it for water warming, which in turn will warm water. So that's the reason why I've got these without holes in them. Okay, so I just wanted to move you, get you guys back where you were before. Much rather look at me anyway than an almost atom-like close-up of the Propagator. I had a really good thought before I was purchasing this as well for another application, which I think would be really, really good. So I was thinking, I was like, okay, so this thing maintains temperature at 19 degrees centigrade. That's great. That's a really warm, constant temperature. And I was thinking, but obviously that needs to take into account as well atmospheric temperature. So this room's like 20 degrees in here, 21, 22, something like that. It's in the early 20s, so degrees centigrade. So it's already quite warm in here. So this is at 19. Well, the soil potentially is going to be at 19 degrees centigrade, plus when these vents are kind of partially sealed up. I mean, this is going to get pretty damn warm in here. And then I thought to myself, so what sort of plants like really high heat, but are carnivorous? And then it occurred to me, Petiolaris complex sundews would absolutely love this environment. I mean, it's a bit ratty at the moment, we need to give it a clear up, but they love high temperatures, and you'd be able to control the humidity with this. You'd be able to put it in a bright environment, but I mean, they are particularly finicky. Most of them will sulk if the temperatures get below sort of 18 degrees centigrade. So they would absolutely love it in one of these. And I have actually got some seeds of some Petiolaris complex sundews, so we're going to be putting them in this and seeing if we can get them to germinate. I have no experience basically in germinating them, so that'll be a good experiment. So what we'll do is we'll pick this guy up. I'll fill the sink up with some with a little bit of bleach, a little bit of washing up liquid, just to sort of sterilise this as much as possible. And I'm just going to use a sponge. I'm just going to wipe them over. We'll probably clean these bits first because they're plastics, and you always wash glass first, or perspex in this instance. So we'll wash those up. I'm not too worried about the trays, they're clean. And then we'll give this guy a wipe over and we'll see what it ends up looking like. I think it's going to come up a treat. Okay, so that's all the component parts of this propagator all cleaned up now. I just used just a scouring pad and a sponge to give it a good wipe up, and it's come up pretty much good as new. It also says made in England. I'm not sure if that's a good thing or a bad thing. just trying to think of all the good engineering things like the Vulcan bomber, and then all the bad things like Rover cars. Sorry if you drive a Rover out there, but you know what I mean. So hopefully it's going to be nice and reliable, and we're going to get many years of service out of it, hopefully. But then again, to be honest, for £10, it doesn't really owe me anything anyway. So the bottom part, the actual Propagator bit itself, has come up really nicely. It's got a few grimy marks on it I can't get off, but I'm not too worried about that. It's come out and it looks pretty damn clean. The bottom of it's like immaculate. I don't think it was used very much before I got it, to be entirely honest. It looks like it's kind of sat just in a garage really and not being used, which is good news for me because it means I've really got a really good piece of kit for next to nothing there. So yeah, that's come up really nice and clean. Very happy with that. We can pop the trays on there now. So I've used heated propagators in the past. I have used them for Saracenia seeds. Nothing on this scale. It was a much smaller one. It was like a little like maybe like a single one of these. It would take like one tray. The lids came up immaculately. They look absolutely flipping brilliant. I'll just give that a knock off just to make sure there's no grit and stuff on there. And then I'll dry these off and I'll put it all together. We'll have a little look at it, and then we'll go through my seed collection, look at some of the seeds that we're going to be sowing this year, maybe in the new year, maybe even before the new year in here. So yeah, I'll dry these off and then tune back in again. There we have it, absolutely good as new. It's come up nice and shiny, nice and white. There we go, look at that. And even the perspex has come up pretty well. It's got a bit of sort of paint spatter in a few places, but only very, very, very small. Nothing really of any sort of concern. So yeah, I'm really happy with that. All we've got to do now is plug it in, make sure it still works. Okay, so I've just plugged it in to make sure it still works. We've got the power on light here, and this green light means that the heat is on, so it's heating up at the moment. So that's a thumbs up. Looks like it's still working. We haven't managed to submerge it. Brilliant. Okay, so that's enough mucking around with the Propagator now. It's all clean and tidy. We've turned it on so we know it works. It's ready to rock and roll. So I thought we'd have a quick look and see what sort of seeds I've got set aside for this project. So that's I'll get them out of the fridge because that's where we store them. We'll lay them out and we'll have a little look. Okay, so all my seeds are kept in the fridge. It keeps them fresh for longer. Also, it helps to stratify those that require stratification. A lot of the ones I have don't, but some of the Drosera and Saracenia really, you will get a much higher germination rate if you simulate that cold snap. So it's about, I don't know, 5 degrees in here, so that's plenty cold enough for most of them. So this is a bit bare in here. We have got the food order coming. It's not it's Christmas, everyone gather around the lemon. You know, we're not that poor, so there is going to be some food coming, and it's all going to get stacked up. Probably far too much cheese. Anyway, so up the top here is where I keep all of my seeds. I've got a big bag there. Some of those are mine. I've harvested out the greenhouse. There's also some that I've been given as well. Valerie, you know who you are. So they all just live up on the top shelf here. There's a few more seeds up here as well. Those are Hedicium seeds. So yeah, basically I stash everything up here, so I've got it. Right. And also there's a big pot here. A lot of these I've harvested myself. There's some more seeds here. Oh, bird of paradise, very nice. So yeah, what we'll do is I'll lay them out and we'll have a little look through them now. Okay, so here's about centre of a shot. These are some of the exotic plant seeds that I really need to get into action and germinate, and some of these will definitely be going in the heated propagator next in the new year. So we've got some Strelitzia seeds here, 2 different types of Strelitzia. They're slightly different. They've got slightly different colorations to the flower. So those are for my nan. I've really got to get on and do those. It says Massarocco on here. I know this is Echium, giant Echiums, the great big like purple pyramidal flower things. They get really big. They get up to like, I don't know, I've seen them up to like 5 metres, in excess of 5 metres. So it looks really sort of like, I don't know, it doesn't look like many seeds in there, but it is just like a mass. It is quite suspect actually. I'm not sure whether I would have liked to have brought that back through customs. My nan did, so I need to get on and get these planted. So these are definitely, these three, the Strelitzias and the Echibs, they've got to go in the propagator. I've got to get on with those. So this is my little exotic plant collection. Now the other things I've got here, I've got 3 different types of Hedicium, which is like they're part of the ginger family, or is part. They are gingers basically. So I've got. Hopefully you better see these, and it won't be too dark. I've got Hedicium coccineum, Hedicium gardnerium, and Hedicium coronarium. So those are probably going to be growing, because I want those for my back garden. Okay, so that's my exotic plant seed collection. Now in here, I'm going to move you around a little bit more as well, just so you've got a slightly better view, and it means I can operate without you constantly having to look at my hands in their shadow. This here, this is my tree seed collection. So I've got all sorts of fancy pants stuff in here. What have we got in here? So this is Cercis racemosa. So this is, I think it's like, it's called something like red bud, I think it is. But this is, in America it's called red bud. But here we just notice it's a type of Judas tree. But this is the one that instead of having the flowers emerge just all over the stem of the tree, these hang in chains that have these very, very sort of light pinky colour. It's very pretty. So I'm very keen to get some of these going. It also looks like there might be a little bit of fungal bloom going on in there, so I need to take those out and give them some air before they start going mangy. But we can do that afterwards. I've got some Acer dissectum seeds, some Acer parmatum. I keep them in these little pots. These are great. If I zoom you in, you'll be able to see a little bit better, hopefully. So these are the little pots that takeaways come. The sauce comes in takeaways if you get them. I keep these because they're microwave proof and they're great for just holding little plants like that. We've also got some another species of Acer parmatum, but this time this is the one with the really small green serrate leaves. I've got some more canna seeds. I kept these from my ones which were growing outside the greenhouse this year or last year, because they will die off. I cut them down every year and lay them down as a mulch over the corms or the roots underneath the ground, and they have come up for me on sort of on an annual basis. They just need some protection because they won't take the super cold weather. Okay, so this is my carnivorous plant collection. These are plants here that or seeds that I've collected from plants in the greenhouse over the previous years, and these are some that I've been sent. So I'll move you guys quickly, and we'll zoom in and we'll have a look at some of these species together. So starting at the top of my horrible handwriting, we've got Drosera venusta or Drosera cossicalis, same thing. This is the mystery pack, the unknown Drosera seed. I have no idea what's in there. So Drosera baumannii, Drosera spatulata, Para gumfields, Pinguicula vulgaris, native Pinguicula, Drosera filiformis, good old Drosera alias. So that thing just produces seeds like it's going out of fashion. Same thing with Drosera capensis. Now we get onto some really interesting species here. These are some that Valeria sent me, so we can have a little looky here. We've got Sarracenia elata, red throat, very cool plant. I'm very excited about that. We've got a few different types of Utricularia, Utricularia multifida, Utricularia longifolia, Drosera dildata petiolaris. There's a petiolaris species there, so that would grow very well in the propagator. Utricularia volubilis, Drosera peltata, that's a tuberous sundew or tuberous Drosera. We've got Sarracenia rubra golfensis, Sarracenia minor okeefenoki, Drosera darbiensis, that's another petiolaris sundew, Sarracenia leucophylla, Sarracenia citacina. I've been after one of those for ages and just never got around to growing it, so I'm quite excited about that. Drosera glandulagira, Drosera stolonifera, another tuberous Drosera, Drosera macrantha, I think that's another tuberous Drosera. Utricularia dichotoma, I've already got some of that growing in the greenhouse. Drosera rarame, this is over by my finger, slightly out of shot there. That's a species of sundew that grows on top of tepuis. I also grow that as well. Sarracenia oreophylla. And finally, my good friend Dan Evans from up north sent me Drosera intermedia, Suwannee Canal, Oaky Swamp, Georgia. That's where that's come from. And those are those seeds just up at the top there. Thank you very much, Daniel, and thank you very much, Valerie. Okay, so getting to the big announcement really, I suppose. It's not really a big announcement, but it's something that I've been planning for some time, and I'm going to be getting you guys involved. I'm going to be doing a video later about this in further detail, and I've been giving it a lot of thought recently, and I really want to sort of give something back, not necessarily to you guys, but to a charity. And I've been thinking of ways I could potentially raise money. That's where you guys are going to come in. I will be going into this in a lot greater detail in the new year when I set this up and work out the particulars. But as it's Christmas, I'd like to give you guys the heads up straight away. So I'm not prepared to go bald gracefully. So what I'm terrified of doing is I always poke fun at myself. If you can't make fun of yourself, you can't make fun of other people. And that's a sign of having a good sense of humour. I'm going to cut all of my hair off for charity. I'm not just going to cut all my hair off, I'm going to shave my head. Right, I used to have a skinhead years and years and years ago, but it is growing increasingly apparent that hair wants to grow everywhere else in my body apart from on my head. Either that or it's retreating from a war of attrition with my eyebrows, so I can't actually tell which one. Either way, I'm going bald, and I don't want to end up with a skullet. If you wonder what a skullet is, that's what Devin Townsend used to have when he was in a strapping young lad. So that's sort of like hair around the outside and the chrome dome across the top. That's not going to happen. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut all of my hair off for charity, and I'm going to ask you guys to donate some of that cash, some of your hard-earned cash, to the Oliver's cutting off his receding hairline dreadlocks. And that's going to be in the new year. I'm going to give you a much more detailed video beforehand where I'm going to explain the charity I'm going to give the cash to, the period of time which I'm going to be running this for, and the deadline for when I'm going to cut my hair off, how I'm going to do it, and I'm probably going to live stream it on my channel as well. So hopefully it's going to grab a bit of attention. Hopefully you guys are going to want to donate some cash. And I will have, in that time, have come up with a suitable charity to which to donate the cash. So without further ado, that's the end of this video. I'm wishing you all a very, very Merry Christmas, and I hope you have a lovely time. And let's see what 2018 brings for me, Oliver's greenhouse, and my cranium. Thanks a lot. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in 2018. Okay, so that went wrong. And something I'm going to be doing a lot of updates on in the coming, well, in the put the centre of shot. Go stick the plug in. I can't reach.